Hi guys, welcome to the Contender Promotions podcast. Today I've got a very special guest on for the new year, my good friend Rich Cadden, the owner of the Chokdee Academy, 2 times world champion, 2 times European champion. So the man's got a resume bigger than my arm. So Rich will tell you a bit about himself when he comes on. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Just battling with these crazy times.
Oh, crazy, man, crazy. So we were a bit delayed, weren't we? I know you've been driving. Was it back from Leeds you've just been?
Yeah. Just say with the snow and everything, it's just took a little bit longer to get back from Leeds, where I was.
How long would that trip normally take you?
25 minutes.
25 minutes, and it took you an hour and a half.
Took about an hour and a half, hour and a quarter. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I was a little bit annoyed, shall we say.
Was that for the test you've been for then?
Yeah. So been for the old COVID test, the old little swab up the nose. It's just only a 2-minute thing, but I'm a veteran of these now. With it.
I was going to say you'll have had a few of them on you now.
Yeah. So
guys, for anybody watching, Rich does a bit of work with Fight Island for the UFC. So if any of you have seen his good-looking face on TV, or you look out for it next time he's on, when will you be over there next?
So I'm there over there from the next 3 shows. So 16th, 20th, and 25th.
Oh, so you'll be there for Connor's fight.
Yeah. So that'll be.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, won't it? Yeah. So how much interaction do you have with the guys when you're over there? Do you see them much? I'm just thinking what's going on at the minute.
Yeah, bits and bats. I mean, we've basically got like an area of land that's kind of cordoned off on Yas Island. It's totally isolated away from like Abu Dhabi City.
Yeah.
There's like a bridge to go over onto Yas Island, and they've got like police checkpoints there.
Yeah.
But it's like a checkpoint before the bridge, checkpoint after the bridge.
Mm.
You get escorted from the airport to that checkpoint, airlocked on that bridge, and then welcomed into the welcomed onto the island with a police escort, would like taking you through to the hotel. So yeah, like, and then the hotel's like right next to the beach, and there's like a cage beach where everyone does their like beach training and cool for photos and that. You get to interact a little bit with the fighters and stuff down there. Not that much, to be fair. We're kind of kept separate. Obviously the support staff, the support team, TV staff, we're all kind of kept separate in a different hotel to all the fighters.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we do have a little bit, but not too much. Like when they're doing all the photo shoots and stuff like that, they kind of keep us out and shut the beach down and that kind of thing. So,
what about Dana? Do you see Dana White or out like that?
You see him at the events.
Yeah.
Sometimes he does his own thing and just says, "I want the beach today," and security listen to him. And so he takes control of the beach. But from what I gather, he's working kind of 24/7.
Yeah, you can imagine. Yeah.
It's not a close the beach. I want to chill out. I think it's close the beach. I want to do a photo shoot with none of your ugly mugs in the background.
Well, yeah, I've seen you doing some. I've seen training over there actually in the cage on the beach. It looks amazing. But I've seen you do it at different times, like when the sunset's coming down, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it was probably too hot to do that in summer. Yeah, like middle of the day. You have to wait till like the end of the day when the sun's going down. It gets a little bit cooler, so it tends to be around sort of 35, 40 degrees.
Yeah.
Just as the sun's going down. but like middle of the day it can be hitting the 50s. So it's it's ridiculously hot during the day.
Yeah, what's it like the food over there and that? Do you get looked after, like really looked after?
Yeah, we get really well looked after. I mean, the 3 hotels that they get, the 3 5-star hotels, they're right on the beach. Really well looked after.
So no, like with your time over there, like how much time do you get to yourself?
It depends, like, because on the first fight island, we had we was having a show every kind of third day, so we have to go through briefings and make sure that like everything that we're doing is kind of running smoothly. We get feedback, and people radioing through from Vegas and stuff for the high levels of people in the UFC, saying what they're happy with, what they like, what they don't like. We're being monitored by every man and his dog, and like I said, Dennis said, like in his briefing, the eyes of the world are upon us. Like pretty much every other sport has kind of shut down, and he's doing this kind of groundbreaking thing where literally taking over an island and setting up all the infrastructure that he has done. It's amazing. It's next level. I love that problem solving mentality. Wherever everyone else kind of almost resigns himself to following this instruction, is like really like focused and system orientated, and the systems that he's got set up in place are like, we're so well looked after. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing what they're doing, like, and they're still keeping the sport going. It's only done good things, hasn't it, for the UFC? Exactly.
Like the I think on the first fight island there was like 60 million pay-per-views, and when we've got 60 million people watching us, it's a little bit of pressure, shall we say.
You were at the Khabib when Khabib fought. Were you there?
Yeah, I was at that one, but we was kind of kept separate. They've got so there were a couple of different teams in the commission, and I was working in a different area at that time, so didn't really have that much to do with him.
Going on to the fight when he fought Gaethje, how did you expect that fight to go? Did you expect it to go exactly how it did, or were you quite shocked?
To be fair, I was. I mean, I was quite shocked. I thought Gaethje was gonna bring it and
me
put
him
under some real pressure. But to make a Division 1 level wrestler panic and not engage and knock him out of his A game the way that he did just shows the level that Khabib's at. I mean, it was concerned about shooting in. It was just kind of second guessing himself. It's just like all credit to Khabib. He's got his thing down. It's worked really well, and well, is there going to be another one? I'm not sure.
Rich, was even the staff shocked? I know obviously everyone thought Khabib was going to win, but maybe he's not in that way and as easy as what he did. Was people shocked that were there, like thinking, "Fuck, he's just like made him like made it look easy."
Like say,
it was supposed to be his hardest fight, weren't it? Really?
Well, allegedly, but like say, like that's what champions do. Champions step the game up and deal with the fighter that's in front of them and impose themselves the way that they do. It was just, everyone just kind of stood back and were like, wow, what can you say to that? It was pretty emphatic.
But there's still a lot left for Justin, though, I mean, in the division. So I like him as a fighter as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it takes nothing away from him whatsoever.
Yeah.
For me, like I say, that the shocking thing was essentially how easy he did it. I mean, there's plenty left in the division for Gaethje. There's still plenty there.
Can he beat Conor, do you reckon? It's going to happen, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's going to be one of those. The question is that, like, everyone talks about that left hand and Conor's left hand and stuff. People are still wary of it. They know what his game plan is. But he's still able to do it. Again, the mark of a good champion, someone that even when you know the style, even when you know what they're going to do, they're still able to do it. They still can't defend against it. It's that kind of, when you get sparring partners copying and emulating a style, like the timing and the athleticism, the fluidity of the technique. When it's done by these almost savant level fighters, that's what separates them.
Going off that, Rich, remember Rich was coming to one of my shows before, the same again, you were on some flight because you're always flying all over the place. Anyway, I think I'd messaged you when you were abroad, and I'd been let down with my commentators from a show. It was the December show, and you actually had lads fighting, didn't you, on the show as well? I was like, look, I need a favour.
It was Adam.
Yeah, you didn't have no sleep either, did you? You had no sleep?
No, it's non-stop, mate. Non-stop. I was coming back from, I think it was St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
I just seen that there was Marat Baliev. Marat the Motivator is his nickname.
Yeah.
He's 42 years old. It's ripped to shreds, and like everyone sees him as this like crazy old man, like proper weathered fighter, thinking that it's just a bit of an act. He's just an old man. He's lost it. He's over the hill and all this, but he still keeps on beating up these young bucks at the prime of their career. And I think it just come off. It was an ACA title win.
Yeah.
He fought this Brazilian kid over 5-minute rounds.
Yeah.
And it pushed this Brazilian kid so hard, like cardio wise, that the Brazilian collapsed at the end of the fight. The Brazilian was throwing up and everything. Just the insane level of and speed and explosiveness of these like wrestling scrambles. He's an absolute monster and certainly one to look out for. Yeah. Marat the Motivator Baliev that fights on ACA. You'll I think if you search him up, you'll like him.
So guys, check him out. Marat the Motivator.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Adam, going off that, when Adam fought on the show, actually, he came on massively. His skill level of what he was.
Yeah. Like I say, it had a bit of a rough time.
Yeah.
Kind of trying to manage his weight and find out what the right weight was for him to fight. And it was always kind of. His thick set is a muscly little unit, and we was just trying to work out what that kind of optimum weight was, and he was coming off 2 losses, so we was saying it's like a kind of make or break type of fight.
He's good though, isn't he? I think he's good.
Oh mate, he's awesome.
It's one of the reasons I signed him. I see big potential in him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, now we're getting his weight right, and things are dropping into place. He's got that resilient power, and an amazing cardio engine. It's just like that's why we call him the Polish Power, because he's just a machine. He doesn't stop.
He's got like, if you looked at him, you'd think he was like 77 kg fighting, because he's so like so like muscular, isn't he, for his size? When he comes to the range, like it's like fucking hell, like it's mad to see the muscle on him. Like I think he's quite naturally like that as well, isn't he? Just naturally,
just like real big boulders on his shoulders, and that is, and then like really cut in, good abs, low body fat, but then like a pair of tree trunk legs. We're trying to get him to encourage him to kick a little bit more, because he's got some phenomenal power in his kicks. Well, like I said, this is where we've been like sharpening the axe over this year. People won't want to get into a
what's he going to be fighting at then? What are you wanting him to be at?
Ideally, I'm still saying like on the day 70, he could probably make like 60, 66, 67.
He's going to be a killer at 66 though, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
He is, because it's just the way he fights and the way he's built. He's going to be
like I said, just getting that right that right weight, and getting the how his style falls into it, the weight category and stuff. Just making sure that he fights the right way for his weight, for his frame size.
Well, it's going to be good, and hopefully we can get him active this year, mate, on Contender Promotions, because it is something I am working on, to get a couple of shows.
Definitely,
even behind closed. I've actually got a venue.
Yeah,
I've got a venue already sorted. Just hoping to get a few sponsors on to cover a few costs, which I could fall back on.
That'd be good.
But yeah, it's going to be good, and get some guys on and get them active again. It's quite sad in the UK at the minute with the fight shows, with not many of the guys are active unless they're really pro level and they're fighting abroad. Yeah,
I've got another kid coming through as well. There's going to be another handful at 68 to 70 kilos.
What's he called? Do you want to name him?
Matty Smith.
Matty, yeah, you've sent me his name before. Yeah, he's only young, isn't he, Matty?
Yeah, he's what is it, 19, 18, 19. But yeah, he's one of those that's been putting the graft in through of a lockdown, really kind of been sharpening that axe and not like resting on his laurels or anything. He's had one fight, one win, good stoppage win, and it's I think is another one that's destined for bigger things.
Is he going to be fighting Thai and K1 as well? Same.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure at the moment. I know he likes to knee, but like I said, never say never.
Yeah, see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's just about getting a match right and keeping them active, isn't it? That's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, when I was growing up, Smithy'd get his fights, and it'd be like, "Oh, you're fighting, all right, okay," and like the rule set wasn't even a question. It was only as we started to get into it that they were like, "Oh, what rules is it? Is it N class, C class?"
Yeah,
we're going kickboxing, K1.
Too much choice now.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of getting out there and doing what you can do.
Yeah. But No, I'm interested, and I'm hoping that fight shows do happen this year. Not even just my own, like other people. I'm just hoping people that starts getting busier.
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of the quite a few boxing shows going on, and I'm aware of at least 2 or 3 MMA promotions that have put some shows on, like behind closed doors.
And how have they done? Do you know how they've done pay-per-view wise?
I don't know, mate.
Idea.
I don't know. But I mean, these are being like higher level, higher level MMA events, like Cage Warriors and Celtic Challenge. Over in Manchester. I can do some digging and ask the
it'd be interesting to know. To be honest, I think we can pull it off, and I think we've got a decent fan base for what we're doing, and I think the guys are going to want to be active. So I think it's something we're definitely going to do. We could do with just a couple of finalising just a few sponsors just to help us out a little bit, just to get the guys busy.
Yeah, definitely.
Rich, let's go off that subject. Rich, do you want to tell people about yourself and how you go into Muay Thai and other things that you're into? I'll let you tell everybody.
Yeah, okay. So I got into Muay Thai when I was about 18. Coming from a rugby background, I would played rugby from like 7-8 year old. So I was always a smaller dude on the pitch. Got into a bit of kind of rough and tumble in it each and every match. But then when I found Muay Thai, I was mad keen to be just in there doing it and enjoying it. So I was pretty late to starting. But I spent a lot of time going out to Thailand. And training with Jitty, and he got me a load of opportunities to fight over there. So I was like one of the things I always tell my guys is that like I didn't have a holiday all the way through my 20s. So from 18 till I was like 30, 32, 33, I had 0 holidays. All my annual leave from work was spent going out to Thailand, training and fighting over there. And I generally time it around Thai New Year, so around Songkran, which was when there was a lot of big shows on. And then Lloyd Krathong, King's birthday, sort of mid to late November, into the King's birthday on the 5th of December. And I spend my annual leave around those kind of times, and I got some great opportunities over there. So that's where I've got a lot of experience. So fighting and keeping the grounding and grassroots stuff in the UK.
Did you not do anything from a kid, like any karate, any box, just as a junior, or was it just mainly like football and rugby and stuff?
Well, it was rugby, and then because I was a little dude on the rugby pitch. I trained judo. So I was got to an accomplished level at judo. Got through to my brown belt in judo. And basically the only thing that kind of stopped me from getting my black belt is that I was crap at the katas. I was just game for having a scrap, and I'd do really well against the like black belts and that kind of thing. But because I essentially like the discipline of the set forms, they were very rigid over their grading criteria, and as a black belt you had to do all the katas and stuff. And that wasn't my bag really. I just enjoyed scrapping, so I stayed as a brown belt for quite a long time. But this also helped us out on the rugby pitch. I was able to, when I was able to get hold of someone's shirt, you could guarantee they were going on the back. So it's always good.
When you went from rugby to like Muay Thai, like did you just totally like backheel the rugby? Did you just fall in love with Thai boxing so much that?
Yeah, so I was going through a bit of a transition period anyway, because I was playing rugby professionally. Played for York, trials for Leeds Rhinos, Featherstone, Wakefield. Didn't get through the ranks then, but I had a 1-year contract playing for York, and so with that professional contract came with the strength and conditioning, the diet, nutrition, all the kind of performance aspects for an individual sportsman. And then as it changed from Rydell York to York Knights, they had to change of management, and basically kicked all the 1-year contracts and says, your best bet is to go back playing amateur, get scouted playing amateur, and your chance will come again. But like for me, when I went back playing amateur, it just didn't feel the same. It wasn't right. I mean, I was still trying to do all the right things, with making sure I was in bed like 10 p.m. before every match. I was doing a diet, nutrition. I was doing strength and conditioning alongside all my like normal rugby training as well. And then I'm turning up on match day, and the guys are coming in saying that they've had a warmed up kebab for breakfast. They were out on the lash last night, and I'm like, mate, we're in the same team here. We should be putting the effort in. So I kind of got a bit disillusioned by it, really. And I says, well, that's when I started with. I actually started with kickboxing to start with. There was a kickboxing guy called Mike Clark.
Is that with the long pants kickboxing, kicks above the waist?
Yeah. So and it was semi-contact as well. Yeah. So I did that for about 6 months, and I enjoyed the speed. It was points kickboxing, so it was all about like first person to get stuck in, first person to land a clean shot, and resetting. And it was a little bit frustrating when someone scored on you.
I've done it.
I'd love to just get stuck in and batter this guy, because he's playing kind of adult TIG against me. Yeah. And I'd always get told off for excessive contact. I was like, how can you have excessive contact in a fight? And like, I just couldn't get my head around it. And then I was in HMV, and I found the World Championships of the Vale World Championships. Yeah. With a guy called Marcus Ruiz. Yeah. And he was fighting a guy called Oleg Taktarov. Yeah. Well, the people that are into martial arts will recognise those names. Yeah. Oleg Taktarov then went on and he was an actor. Played in a lot of Bruce Willis films, if I remember rightly. And on that, they kept on talking about this thing called Muay Thai, and how it was one of the best stand-up forms and stuff in that. And I was like, all right, okay. So back to HMV, I was looking through, and I found this one video called Muay Thai, the most extreme ring sport in the world. Yeah. I was like, that's for me. So got that and started watching that. I was into I liked a bit of extreme sports as well. So I was going out, I was surfing and stuff around the same sort of time, and did a bit of snowboarding and things like that.
Did you have some air then when you were surfing?
Well, yeah. Believe it or not, I had a wig down here.
I think I've seen an old picture with your wig on.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was takes me back to my point. It's like Point Break.
Point Break, yeah.
looking like Bodie, and Yeah, it was fantastic. So that was all into like extreme sports and stuff like that, and that strapline of the most extreme ring sport in the world just stuck with me. So this was around the same sort of time that I was surfing, and we decided. Well, 3 of my mates had decided that they were going to do a around the world tour, like 6 months, and hitting all the top surf spots in the world.
Yeah.
So about 6 months before they went, one of the guys dropped out. He says, "Oh, that's it. I've settled down with this bird. I'm going to jack it in. I don't want to do it anymore. Do you want to take my place?" It says all it'd take, you can have the place. All it took is just like a switch of the names on the forms, and you can have it. I was like, yeah, I'm going for that. So I worked 72-hour weeks for 6 months. I was grafting my ass off. Yeah. And I saved up that money, and enough to go away for 6 months and live off my savings. We went to so we started off in LA. Yeah. We went LA, Hawaii, Fiji, New Zealand, Australia. Stayed in Australia for about 2.5-3 months, traveling up the coast from Sydney up to Cairns, and then came back via Singapore up to Bangkok, down through overland through Thailand, over to Malaysia, back into Singapore, and then fly home. And that was a 6-month journey. But
it was a life journey, that.
Mate, it was amazing. It's like next level. It's one of those like dream things that just the stars aligned and it happened. But while I was in Thailand, that was my first experience of what it was like at Rajdamnern and Lumpini Stadium. And when I walked through the doors of Rajdamnern Stadium for that first time, hearing the crowd cheering, the smell of the liniment oil and everything, the whole experience, and seeing these elite level guys like going toe to toe, no one wanting to give an inch. It was like,
it is another level when you're in them stadiums, isn't it? It's like you can't even describe it unless you've been.
It's
especially
amazing.
The fucking first time. I remember when I went, and I was like, "Fucking hell!" I couldn't believe it.
Gobsmacked.
Yeah, I was gobsmacked.
Gobsmacked.
No, they felt like, to me when I was there, it felt like they were made of fucking steel, like the way they were. Yeah, you just never seen that like it.
Yeah. Well, so that was when I was like, when I was 18.
Yeah.
When I first walked through them doors, and 8 years later, like constant training, day in day out, trips over to Thailand and extra training in Thailand, building my fight reputation back in the UK, working through the ranks in the UK. I eventually, after 8 years, I got to fight at Rajdamnern Stadium.
Did you?
That was it. It was like one of them kind of legacy things that really stuck with me. That set my mind on it, set my goal, and it happened. It was like
I say that's amazing.
That's the focus that's required for me, myself, and my story. There's obviously other ways that you can get there now. There's a lot more opportunities and stuff now. But like I said, my loyalties and stuff like that still lie with bad company, with Jitty Gym over in Thailand. Those guys have really looked after us, really supported us.
Yeah. Do you still train with Rich from Bad Company? Do you still train with him now, or ever gone down?
I'd love to. Love to. I just don't get the time. There is kind of times when, like quiet times through the day when I ain't got PTs on and stuff like that. But like I said, running my own business.
I know.
Running my own gym. It's
people think you train all the time, don't they? But you train everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. You train everyone else, and but when you get to the end of it, it's like it's your place of work.
Yeah.
So, however committed and focused you are on hitting the bag and stuff like that, you hear the doggo behind you. It's your job to go and look after him.
Yeah.
There's no turning around and saying, "Oh, wait a minute," and putting everyone else on the back burner, because that's one of the things as a fighter, you have to be selfish.
Yeah.
But as a gym owner, as a business owner, you're there to serve. So it's one of those where even when you get time to train yourself, you've still got a duty to do.
Yeah, that's it. I was saying to my wife the other day, I was like, look, we're in like strange times now, and sometimes even with our job, the money's not always great in being a martial arts instructor, gym owner, and it's harder now because the guys now aren't competing or anything, and sometimes you get more rewards than money. Like there's you get a lot more rewards than just actually getting you like paid from doing your job.
100%. I mean
stuff.
Yeah, I mean there's we've got some right stories about the things that people have overcome, and they not even like the more simple like weight loss challenges and that kind of thing. It's the connection that you get with people, and then seeing them overcome their demons, or you help them like building confidence and that kind of thing, and it's that kind of gives you that warm glow inside.
Yeah, it is a good feeling when you see somebody change, especially what you'll know yourself and other gym owners as well, when you've got somebody that comes through your doors and they might be like a shy person or whatever, they haven't got much confidence or whatever reason, and then all of a sudden you see them change, like flourish. It's like you just see them blossom, don't you? And it's like in a year or two, they are a total different person, but for the better. Martial arts is I advise anybody to get into martial arts, whether you want to take it up to compete or not, because I just think it'll give you all the right foundations and roots to do anything you want in life.
The thing about martial arts is that there's nowhere to hide, and I think there's a certain level of exposure. So when you're kind of going through these things, it's like you're going to hit your demons. It's going to identify what your frailties are. It's going to highlight your frustrations. It's going to highlight your ego. And there's some humbling experiences, but it's also recognizing that, and do they want to expose themselves to that and keep pushing? Do they want to conquer that demon, or do they shy away from it? And this is where you start finding you start seeing the fighters, you start seeing the people that kind of grit their teeth and hunker down and crack on. But then this is also where you see the athletic guys that maybe do really well, have a few knockouts on the record, and start building their confidence and that kind of thing. But when they like hit their barrier, hit their breaking point, where you see them crumble. And so there's you start seeing it as there's a certain level of like sports entertainment. You start seeing it as a sport, as a game. But then also you start seeing it as the personal development. So those people that come back from losses, those people that are willing to put in the graft, and you start showing how much it means. That's what I believe a true martial artist is about. So it's like I think Teddy Atlas said it about Mike Tyson. Saying he was a fantastic sporting specimen, but he was still scared. He was still a scared little kid. I think it, like, from memory, what Teddy Atlas was saying was that like, I think Mike Tyson was 50-6.
Yeah.
But as a fighter, Teddy Atlas still had him down as a 0-6.
Yeah.
Like he never confronted his demons. Whenever push came to shove, he always crumbled each time. He didn't think on his feet. I mean, it's not to say that the losses that he had weren't legitimate losses.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just finding out what that like inner metal of someone is when the chips are down. So like this is the narrative that Teddy was following, was like, if you want to be a solicitor, you might have all the documentation, you might have all the paperwork, but you get into court and all that gets thrown out. What do you do now? That's where a solicitor earns his money.
Yeah.
Can they retrieve something when they've got nothing? As a, what was the other example he used? As a brain surgeon, they've done all the technical, like, textbook stuff.
Yeah.
They've gone in to do an operation, and then once they've opened up the patient, they find something different, something that's not in the text. Then what do you do? It's this problem solving. It's this thinking on the feet, and this is what fighters have to do in order to cement their clarity and build their confidence and their legitimacy as a fighter. They have to be able to think on the feet when it doesn't go to plan, when the game plan doesn't work.
Yeah.
What do you do? And coaches try and cover every eventuality, but at the end of the day, it's down to the individual of being able to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Can they then find that improvisation? Can they find that ingenuity to work out what that problem is? And it could be down to one technique, just a little tweak here, a little tweak there, and that's where you start looking at the technique of fighters and the legitimacy of the fighter, of whether it's a fighter or a sporting conquest. And I found that speech fascinating.
Yeah.
Because like to the layman, like to the average supporter, everyone focuses on, oh wow, he's like 20-0.
Yeah.
He's like 20 knockouts, 20 wins. He's an absolute monster.
Yeah.
Like, well, he hasn't really been tested then. And it's only when we're tested that we find our mettle, where we find our bigger lessons. Yeah. That's the little controversy that I have with, like, the boxing records and stuff like that. And people go on, like, records are for DJs and all this. But like, a record will tell you whether they've been in those challenges, whether they've maybe tasted loss, have they grown from that loss.
You learn a lot more from a loss. Even in life shuts challenges every day. And
yeah, definitely.
Them challenges we face and how we come. You look at the challenges we're in now, mate. Well, even just me and you personally, and other guys that we know in the industry, like, we're facing now challenges that potentially could change our fucking life.
It's uncharted times, and it's challenging times, and like, a lot of people don't recognise the stress that gym owners are under, because with all the best will in the world, with all the inspirational stories and stuff like that, inspiration doesn't pay the rent.
It's true.
So and like, but this is one of the things that you still have to be inspired by it. You still have to find that limitless drive And there's never any rolling over. There's no waiting for someone else to take the helm. I keep posting that a couple of those like sailing stories.
Yeah.
Like ships are safe in the harbour.
Yeah.
Well, that's not where they're meant to be. The ships are for sailing.
Yeah, it's fucking true.
And they say like calm seas never made good captains.
Yeah.
So it's only when the ship's giving it all this, and it's up and down, and the waves are crashing, and they're getting washed towards the rocks, and all this. Like, what are you gonna do? That's when the captain earns his coin.
Yeah.
And this is what we're about. So, yeah, like, can you still wear your mask when you might be worrying about the accounts during the day, but then can you still wear that mask and show a happy, vibrant, motivating face when you're coming out to teach on a night? That's what we do
every day.
Yeah.
So I know obviously it's a stupid question, but how is your gym been doing? I know it hasn't been doing the best, but how has it been doing, and what can you see like changing for you as a business? Can you see yourself going in a different direction, or do you just think we're just going to have to weather the storm as best we can?
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a weathering of the storm. There has to be a bit of diversifying and stuff like that. I think things are going to change a little bit with the amount of bureaucracy that's involved. I think, yeah, we're still pushing. We're still working. It has been challenging this year. There's no doubt about it. I went through a bit of a dark time personally, but right at the start, I was on the kind of the thin edge of the wedge, and like you get to. And
people wouldn't think that, Rich, because you're like me. You're a very positive person. You're always putting positive stuff out there, so people wouldn't see that from you. I would dare not say.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is difficult. It's been testing times, and this is what we were saying in that in those testing times, that's when it's tested my mettle. Yeah. It's leaning on this has built my confidence. Built my confidence as a coach, as a gym owner, as a business owner, because I've had to adapt, because I've had to learn, and like I said, it has been difficult. And I took up an offer from a business coach, someone that I used to do personal training for. And I mean, he's like a high level business coach. He does business consultancy for banks down on Canary Wharf and the financial industry down there. He's got a house up here, so he does a lot of kind of Zoom calling, but then goes down to London for his meetings and stuff. High level guy. But on his LinkedIn, he was saying about these kind of difficult times, and he was offering free business coaching first hour, and I was like, I need to chat. I need to talk to someone. Hit him up with a message, and he was like, Rich, you really looked after me when I was going through some difficult times, and you've helped me out a hell of a lot. You don't even need to take advantage of it from a business perspective. Let's have this chat as a friend. And so that was like karma. Karma, it comes around. And he helps us out, and he kind of sat down and like almost reframed the business analogy into a combat analogy. He's like, right, okay, so COVID's hit. people cancelling memberships at the gym, a lot of concerns, a lot of worries, everyone getting scared. Right. First round of the fight. Someone comes out, you think you've got the measure of this and you think you're going to win. All of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
Hit you, big right hand, drop you. What do? Well, for me, it was like, well, okay, you've just been dropped.
Yeah.
Get up.
Yeah.
Get your ass off the canvas. Get stood up. Take your count. Do what you got to do. And it was like, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at how many people would say, stay down, take the loss, move on. He says, but that's the fighting attitude. He comes back to your fighter, comes back to the corner. What advice do you give him? He says, well, there's a lot of concerns about this big right hand that's hit you. So what are you going to do? He says, well, you got to build your confidence back up. Got to be on the offense.
Yeah.
So work on your basics. Basics are basics because basics work. So what are your basics? So our basics from a business perspective was absolutely hammering the crap out of the Zoom calls, Zoom coach.
Yeah.
We was doing 3 sessions a day for 3 months. We must have done over 300 Zoom classes. And that was our foundation. Building that foundation to build our confidence, to build back up again. Now, I wouldn't have been able to do that without the support of Joe. Joe's been absolutely fantastic.
Did you do well off the Zoom classes?
They kept us alive.
Yeah.
They kept us functioning.
I didn't. I tried. I didn't.
They kept us working on our basics and sharpening the axe, doing the basics, but refining on the basics. So yeah, like really drilling down into those coaching points, specific techniques, telling people how to set themselves up into coaching situations. Yeah. So I had them like putting pieces of insulation tape down on the floor, on the carpet, on the patio, on the if they had some mats, like taping out like little squares and little angles, just so that we could practice some footwork drills and things like that. Really drilling down into like individual footwork movements so that when push comes to shove, it's easy to do this when you're not getting smacked in the face. Yeah. Can you still do it when you're being punched in the face, when you're getting kicked? Can you still do the basics in these stressful times?
Yeah.
And so there's been a lot of axe sharpening, and to be honest, this has been a bit of a godsend. Like guys are coming back in the gym. You're like, wow, you've been putting in work. I can tell from your balance, from your footwork, from your reactivity, that all these things that you've been doing, it's paid off. And you're seeing them stepping into sparring. You're seeing them stepping into sparring now, and they're doing all those basics so well. Yeah. It's like, wow, like the spotlight of being able to drill this with a no stress impulse, and then the repetition of that, teaching themselves well, and using the grids, using the target practice and stuff like that. If you can't do it slow, then you can't do it fast. But now that they've been doing it slow, now they're doing it under stress faster. Everything falls into place, and it was beautiful to see.
Yeah, it's good to hear. To be honest, that people have actually took that time, because I do believe the little bits are so important. Them little bits are what makes from a good martial artist to a very, very good martial artist.
This is it. It's that kind of almost systems and protocols that we had in place. And like I say, Joe's been an absolute legend and working really close, and it's been brilliant.
And you're still working you're still working now?
Yeah. I mean, she's while I've been doing all this stuff this afternoon, she's been sorting the timetable out, and she does probably 95% of the online content, the stuff that we put out
on social. Is that
on our social media stuff? So yeah.
That's good, because that's one of, like, I'm on social a lot. I push my own social a lot, and people say my social's good, but it takes a lot of time. It takes up a lot of fucking time.
And this is it. This teamwork that we've got. We're in it together. I can't sing her praises enough.
That's good. Shout out to Joe. Well done for looking after my mate Rich.
Keeps me in line.
So, Rich, what's next for you? What's your plans?
Quite a few things. So I've just started writing a book.
Yeah.
Started bringing in a few different angles from.
What's the book about? Your life?
Well, no, not. I feel a bit. What's that? I can't think of the word. I think it'd be a bit conceited. I'd feel a bit awkward kind of talking about that. But what the book's about is it's basically a coaching book. It's an insight into my thoughts and my processes.
Yeah.
But I'm writing it with a focus to getting those ideas out there of how I think, how I train, and the attitudes that are required to succeed, which could be carried over into business, into life, whatever. Yeah. Then obviously add in some like Thai boxing technique stuff, a bit of strength and conditioning, a bit of the diet and nutrition, and these things that have helped me to get to 2 world titles, 2 European titles, and the progress and almost like lifelong learning process that I've been going through. I call this episode 1.
How far off are we of reading this book or seeing it on the shelves or Amazon?
Well, it's a big asset. It's very time consuming.
Yeah.
I'm about 8,000 words into it now, and I keep hitting these kind of similar barriers with people in the gym, and then I've been saying, I was just writing about that today.
Yeah.
This you need to read my book and all this lot, and it's
that sounds good then. Yeah, so it's real life shit, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'm not doing it as a sales pitch. I'm saying, well, you can read this unedited version now, and like I'll ping it over to him. And there's spelling mistakes, and it's a little bit out of context, and maybe not as flowing as what it should. Yeah. It's going to take quite a while to get this information down. But like I say, with some of the stuff that I've been doing from on my YouTube channel, I put a couple of like pyramids and stuff like that on there, different general ideas of how I kind of approach my Thai boxing strategy, how I process my attacking strategy, how I process my defensive strategy, how the two kind of fit together. But all of this all kind of sits under the attitude work and the beliefs work that we go through as well. What are the caveats that you have within training? What are the challenges that you hit within training from a mental perspective? before you even get to the physical.
Yeah.
Because like I say, from a personal trainer perspective, I generally have people for 1 hour every week.
Yeah.
It's what they do in that other 130 odd hours in between.
Yeah.
That counts. If in my 1 hour I can't affect that other 130 odd hours, then
true.
Then there's some disconnect there, because yes, the client is invested in themselves, but then there has to be that emotional buy-in from the client. It's not like it's not like I've paid you for this hour's training, fix me, because it takes relationships on both sides.
Yeah.
It's a case of, right, okay, I'm invested, you're invested, let's walk together. And so like a beautiful couple walking down the beach, they're walking hand in hand.
Yeah.
It's not one person doing all the walking and the other person stays back at the hotel and says, tell me about the walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to experience it. You have to go through that process. And so there's teamwork involved. And this is where the teamwork is so important. And I need to be able to inspire in that 1 hour what you're doing there for the rest of the week.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. But Rich, I just want to thank you, mate, for coming on the show and making the time. I know you're a busy guy. It'd be good to get you in the studio one day. That would be good. And
yeah, I'm more than happy to help. We can sort something out.
Yeah, we'll do it. But guy, this podcast is sponsored by Seconds Out Coffee. I know Rich Cadden drinks the Seconds Out Coffee. So he's going to put a good word out. Also, guys, this podcast is sponsored by the Jab Cross Hook game. This game is now for pre-order now, guys, on our website. It's below. Also, guys, if anybody's freezing cold right now, you can buy our Contender Snood. So keep you nice and warm, guys, with that snow outside. And also, guys, our new sponsor for the show, Fightlab. You can also buy Fightlabs gear on our website, and that's below, guys. But yeah, again, Rich, I just want to thank you for coming on the show. And if you can just leave us, Rich, with a bit of motivation for some guys who are looking to get into the game, or anybody that's struggling right now with life or anything, just a couple of words from yourself.
Oh,
on the spot.
Yeah. It's understanding that what comes first, the chicken or the egg? What comes first, the energy or the feeling? What it's down to is taking that first initial action. And you'll get it with kind of goal setting work and stuff like that. But I have my own little twist. On goal setting, they talk about having SMART goals. When I say SMART, it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. But as they say in 300, this is smarter. Okay, I put an A on the end. Okay, and that A is for action. What's the one action that you can do that's gonna start those dominoes falling over? What's the one action that you can take to break the inertia? What's the one action that you can do to break that procrastination? The thing that's stopping you from achieving. We all take actions. We all have to work towards something. And it's within those actions that inspires you to hit your goals. And that's probably the one thing that is pivotal. It's that thin edge of the wedge. It's that one thing that you can do just before everything else starts falling into place. So hope that sticks with you. Understand what that one action is, what that small action is. It could be picking up that book. It could be turning that page. It seems like nothing, but it comes with something. It comes with an energy. It comes with a power, an investment in yourself. Because you know that you're stronger than what you think you are. You know that you're smarter than what you think you are. So let's leave this negativity behind. Let's move on to something more powerful. And let's make a greater you.
And there you go, guys. Wise words from my friend Rich Cadden. So, guys, action. Take it now. Do it. But, guys, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our platforms on social media, to our YouTube page. Also, guys, follow Rich Cadden. Just want to thank you again, Rich, for coming in the studio. Oos, my friend. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Cap kun cap. So wari cap.